What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Full Court Talk podcast. How you doing, CJ?
Yeah, man. Like I was telling you earlier, lost my voice, guys. Sorry, but we still here, man. We still here. Winter break.
Yep. Hey, you might be excited for that, right? Because you need that break.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
We got a lot to get to. The Orlando Magic had a brief six-game winning streak. I think it was one of the longest active winning streaks at that time. Obviously, it's ended. They have two-game losing streak now, so it is what it is. We're gonna talk about to see do we think they could be a play-in contender, and then we're gonna talk about who do we think are strong championship contenders right now. And then we'll round the show out talking about some trade candidates. Who do we think is kind of a for sure player to get dealt? So I
Mhm.
know you're following the Magic pretty closely because you got Paolo Banchero. So what do
Yeah.
you think about the Magic so far?
I mean, in my non-biased opinion, like we're getting what is expected of them, right? Um, they're gonna win some games. They're gonna play fun, free basketball because I mean, at the end of the day, they're not really playing for a championship, right? They're just playing to get a feel of what the future is gonna look like, who's gonna stay, who's gonna go, type thing. But if we're talking strictly based on if they can be a playing candidate, I definitely think so. I know the East has gotten better in recent years, but with the way that they play and with the players they got, I think they could easily sneak in there at the 10th seed at most. But obviously they're not going to make it past that unless unfortunately injuries come to those teams. But I do think that with the recent success, they've proven that they can get it done. And some of those wins are very much quality wins, like against the Celtics. And I know one of them was against a Celtics team without Jason Tatum. But I think with the guys that they got, and even if you consider the fact that some guys are injured, like Jalen Suggs, who's a good part of their backcourt before he went down, and the surprise, or was it with Ball just hooping? I know you like him,
Yeah.
Spence, and he we're waiting for Wemby, but we got Ball. You know what I mean? And like he's doing really well, and you know he's uh he's playing that stretch four slash point guard slash whatever you want to call it. But you got my guy Paolo looking like an MVP. No, I'm just kidding.
Close. I
Yeah,
think he might get there someday.
yeah.
He looks
Um,
good.
yeah, he does. And like I saw this tweet recently about how like we're pretty much with the exception of like the media outlets for NBA, like we're pretty much skipping the hype around Paolo and like just going straight into Wemby, which I think is disrespectful because Paolo's putting up numbers. Sometimes, we discussed this in earlier podcasts about like empty numbers like Drummond does, but these are actually meaningful numbers in my opinion. And he looks so polished. It's crazy. And, I just want to credit Orlando for making the right pick. And, overall, I do think they can definitely be a candidate to get into that last playing spot, especially with injuries done to some of the teams.
Yeah, they're just 2.5 games behind. Let me see. The Raptors, who have looked pretty bad recently with all the
Yeah.
injuries that they've had. They're about 2.5 games behind them.
Hmm.
I think the Orlando Magic are definitely this is for sure their ceiling. They're not going to be in the playoffs, and if they make the
Yeah.
playoffs, it's because they got lucky. Let's say that. They
Yeah.
kind of remind me of the Pelicans from
Yeah.
last season, who kind
Yeah.
of like started out slow and kind of figured it out as they went on. Obviously, the trade for CJ McCollum really helped.
Yeah.
And I think the Magic kind of have a lot of assets to trade if they want to try and see if they can make something of the season. Personally, I wouldn't. The draft class is too stacked next season.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have Jalen Suggs, you got Mo
Yeah.
Bamba, you have Jonathan Isaac. You have assets to move that people will want. So I don't think Jalen Suggs is
Hmm.
on the table, but Mo Bamba and Jonathan Isaac for sure are. But like you
Yeah.
said, like their young guys are just hooping. They're a really good young team. Jonathan Isaac hasn't even played this season. I don't know if
Hmm.
he's going to, but when he does play, he's a game wrecker. He's great on defense. He was figuring out offensively if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a really good addition to this team. The Wagner bros, man, they're nice. Franz and Mo.
Hmm.
Uh, they're a good team. I think next season you could see them sneak into like maybe the sixth seed.
Yeah.
I think this season, if they make it even past the ninth seed, that's a heaven sent gift for them.
Yep.
But they're a good young team, and I would not be shocked to see them in the playoffs next season because they just need to keep developing their guys. They don't necessarily need the draft picks anymore. They just need to continue to develop their guys. And I also want to give a shout out to Markel Fultz and Cole Anthony, man. They've been hooping. When healthy,
Yep.
they've been hooping. It's really good for Markel Fultz because he's been through hell and back through his first, what, 4 seasons in the NBA. So I'm happy
Mhm.
for him.
Yep.
And honestly, if you think about it, like I would not want to face the Magic in a 1 game series just because of their insane length and
Mhm.
their defensive
Yep.
switchability. It's just disgusting.
Their starting lineup is like huge.
Yeah,
Like they could really go if they really wanted to. They can go 6'8" and above all
easily.
five position. Yeah, which is crazy.
Franz and Paolo can share the point guard duties. You got
Yep.
Franz, you got like even Jalen Suggs is a big guard. Like they
Yeah,
have
he
a
is.
lot of versatility within their point guard position. So
Yep.
I'm excited to see how they kind of develop further into their careers. If Jalen Suggs can stay healthy, because like right now it doesn't look like he can stay healthy. So
Unfortunately, yeah.
yeah. But who do you consider as a strong championship contender in the East right now?
I mean, you gotta go. I'm gonna go with the safest pick. I'm gonna go with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know, this it's not rocket science. You just gotta go with what's working well. I know Boston's they had a streak for a little bit, and they hit a couple of rough patches as of recent. But Milwaukee's the safest bet. They're deep everywhere. From the starting lineup to the bench, and they're very well coached. And I also don't want to leave Brooklyn out. Ever since Jacques took over, they've been playing so much better. BS aside, Kyrie and KD been hooping,
Yeah.
right? And I know like some of these guys are just saying, "Oh, it's still the your turn, my turn" type offense, but they're getting other people involved and they're starting to trust their teammates, and the record shows for it. And yeah, so I would pick those as my top three. But if it came down to it, it's looking like Milwaukee and Boston. I don't know about the Sixers just yet. I still don't think. I mean, they have an identity with James Harden and Embiid. Obviously, the offense runs through them, but sorry, Doc, but his reputation precedes itself, and I just don't know if he can get him over the hump. But yeah, safest bet, I'm gonna go with Milwaukee for the East.
Yeah, I think I do have the Milwaukee Bucks as well. I think I want to highlight they really haven't been healthy all season, and it really hasn't been like well documented. Drew Holiday has missed a couple games here and there, and then Chris Middleton hasn't been in the lineup. Obviously, he had wrist surgery over the offseason, so he hasn't really been there. And recently, he just had a knee injury, so he just hasn't been there. But they're still on the top of the East. The
Yep.
Celtics, obviously the best duo in the NBA. They're incredibly deep. Malcolm Brogdon was a brilliant pickup for them.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
they're insanely scary. That's why Jaw said that they're one of the teams that they have to run through, and it's for sure the Celtics. I want to highlight the Cavs. The Cavs look really good. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, as advertised, Donovan Mitchell has been a lot better than with Rudy Gobert. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, another really deep team. The Nets, I think they've always been playing really well. 7 game win streak after tonight, but they could implode at any second. At any moment, Kyrie could go on another rant and he's out of
There,
there, right?
there. Yep.
The Sixers, they just can't stay healthy. James Harden and Joel Embiid I don't think they can last 82 games plus the playoffs. And PJ Tucker is
Agreed.
he has not been good up until like I think recently he just scored again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That team is like with Tyrese Maxey, they're really good. It's just can they stay healthy? I don't believe in them.
Yeah.
And then in the West, I only have two: the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. Grizzlies, as much as I hate to say it, like they are so damn good.
Yeah.
They are a pain in the ass to play, but they look like honestly, if I wasn't a Warriors fan, I love what they're doing. Like the dancing in the tunnel, like they just look like they're having a ton of fun, and I love it. But as a Warriors fan, I hate it because I don't like the Grizzlies. But Jaren Jackson has been so good when healthy. Desmond Bane's averaging 24 when he plays. John Morant is John Morant.
Yeah.
Still fuck Dylan Brooks, but that's not gonna go away. The Pelicans, we know who they are. They're your Duke guys.
Mm-hmm.
Zion, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum's obviously really good, but even if Zion gets hurt, they set Herb Jones for defense and Trey Murphy for shooting. So they're so deep, they're well coached. But who do you have in the West?
I mean, the no-brainer answer here is the Grizzlies, right? They don't fear anybody.
Yeah,
My only concern with the Grizzlies is their lack of playoff experience.
yeah,
That's my only concern. Grizzlies are good, and in the regular season they seem to run through it in the past 2 or 3 seasons. But when they get to the postseason and they play an experienced team, like for example the Warriors or even Denver, I don't even know if they have enough pieces to get a bye. The playoffs is a whole different story, and
yeah,
like our teams, unfortunately, they're not doing so well right now. But let me tell you this: I don't think anybody wants to play both of our teams in a 7-game series,
yeah,
right? As bad as we are right now, but yeah. So that's what the Grizzlies got to keep in mind, and they're young, they're having fun, and it's not annoying like Phoenix. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
the way that they're having fun is not annoying like Phoenix.
yeah,
And speaking of which, it looks like they're having trouble in paradise a little bit there too. But
yeah,
yeah, my only pick as of right now, coming into the All-Star break, is the Grizzlies. I also want to say the Pelicans, like you said, but having or seeing them play against Milwaukee the other day and how well Milwaukee defended them, it gives me that impression that okay, like these guys are for sure not ready,
yeah,
And there was a Twitter post that I saw highlighting how they guarded Zion, and it was just masterful. And I love Zion, but in order to stop him, you need a whole team effort, and that's what Milwaukee did. And like this is what we talked about how their coach very very impressive job of coaching. And if somehow the Pelicans and the Grizzlies are in the top 5 seeds, um, I would say that they advance past the first round. But going forward, it might be a little more difficult because their coaches, respectively, have the experience, but the players, as young as they are, do not.
yeah,
And the thing I love about the Grizzlies, like you said, how deep they are, is if somebody goes down, they can cover that person. It's literally next man up mentality.
yeah,
When Ja went down, my guy Tyus did his thing. You know, um, Triple J was down, Brandon Clark, Steven Adams, they were filling in. And so they definitely have a lot to go. But let's hope that their season is not a fluke when it comes to the postseason. And I
yeah.
really love Ja's confidence. He's like one of my favorite up and coming players right now. And I definitely want to see him be successful, but hopefully it's not against my team.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So
Yeah.
before we move on to the next topic, what do you think
Yeah.
about the Nuggets? I think they're the unofficial number one seed. I think they're tied with the Grizzlies right now, but what do you think about them?
I mean, everybody has to wear a suit.
True.
Yeah, right. I think that's so funny. But I want to say this is the year that the Nuggets take the leap. I really want to believe it, but MPJ hasn't been on the court, so it's really tough to gauge. I really want to make it. I really want to make that case because if you look at it, what team in the West besides the Grizzlies and the Pelicans? That's 2 teams out of possible 8 that can check them.
Yeah.
I don't really see anybody, right? And unfortunately, the Warriors are injured, Lakers are injured, so any of these teams that are primed to match up with them can't really see them right now. And so I think this is the best opportunity for them to take advantage. And like I said, if it was just Lakers and Nuggets, oh man, we beat them twice this season. I think we'd be fine. But you know, um, this is the year to take that opportunity. I know we're still in the first half of the season, but if they're gonna make some noise, it has to be now.
Yeah.
Because if they don't take advantage now, who knows? Management might get grow impatient and want to make a move. Right? They stayed patient with Jamal Murray through the injuries. Obviously, the Jokic is untouchable.
Yeah.
And PJ, I would say those three guys, right? But like you said, they are the unofficial number one seed, and that just rounds out the West right there. The Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans. So they got to do it now,
Yeah.
and they got to do it quick.
I think the biggest concern for me, other than the fact that they can't stay healthy, they have one of the worst defenses in the league. They're ranked 24th in defensive rating. They allow 114 points a game. You can't win a championship playing bad defense. We've seen that. Jokic
Mm-hmm.
is, I think, the best center in the league. Joel Embiid is dominant, but Jokic just
Does
he's
everything.
different. Yeah, he's different.
Yeah.
With that being said, you can't win playing drop coverage. I think that's the way they can beat the Grizzlies just because John Morant isn't a shooter, so you can get away with it. But if you're playing the Cavs, the Celtics, even the Pelicans, you're not going to win. There's just no way. So
Yep.
I want to see them take a leap defensively or make some moves for defensive pieces. But right now, I don't see them contending in terms of or making that leap to contention. They can get through the regular season because you can get away with high powered offense, but in a
Yep.
7 game series, someone's going to figure it out. So,
Facts.
and then what about the Suns? You kind of hinted that they have some inner turmoil going. What do you think about the Suns and DeAndre Ayton kind of not meshing?
Oh, brother. Man, the Suns. I'm sorry. I got some friends that like the Suns, but they become officially to me the most annoying team in the NBA now. I thought it was the Grizzlies last season, but now it's just them. A lot of their antics is just uncalled for. And I feel bad because, Book got that Kobe connection. But as a team, obviously they're still good. Monty Williams is one of the best coaches in the league. And I feel bad that he has a group like that, that cannot be mature for the life of them. And you got a point guard. Oh my God, I hate CP3, bro. His antics just piss me off. I
Yeah,
would hate to play against CP3.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And you know what? I really do want to set the record straight. That little rivalry they got going on with the Pelicans is box office. Like the NBA needs that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And um, obviously, I'm not going to count them out because they're still a very good team. Um, Chris Paul is back. He's what drives the ship. You know what I mean? He's the captain. And, this is coming off 2 years from the finals. And they're obviously a playoff team still. And unless they get the antics together, I don't know whether or not they're going to reach the finals again. You know what I mean? They lost a big part of their defense with that Jay Crowder situation. And speaking of which, that was going to be my guys for the topic that we're doing next. But
yeah,
it's just an awkward situation now because the Suns, they're getting bought out by somebody else. So does that mean Jay Crowder still wants to leave? You know what
yeah,
I mean? Right? And so I think the same thing that you said. I know they got Mikal Bridges and they got DeAndre Ayton. And I just think that moving forward, they just got to hoop. They just have to hoop. Listen to Monty and not do any of this extracurricular stuff.
yeah.
Not to say that they can't do it like the Grizzlies do. It's just I don't know, man. Like the Suns is just so annoying to me, and this is me being unbiased. And they can be such a great team. They still are, but yeah, it's looking like they're having a little bit of problems. And I hope not in terms of Monty because he's too good of a coach to be dealing with some BS like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, um, they're locked in top 5 in the West.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, they're still one of the teams to beat, obviously. And I know my cousin Evan is a big Phoenix Suns fan, but I'm sorry, I do not like the Suns.
Nope.
Chris Paul is one of my most hated players. He is absolutely obnoxious. Devin
Mm-hmm.
Booker is one of the best shooting guards, but he's also one of the corniest dudes on the court.
Fortunately.
I will say I love Mikal Bridges. He is so good on both ends. He just seems like such a great guy. Whenever he
Yeah.
goes on JJ Redick's podcast, must listen.
Hmm.
With that being said, I don't think this Suns team doesn't seem to like each other. DeAndre Ayton does not want to be there from what it seems like.
Yeah.
And it sucks for them because they retained him obviously on a big contract,
Hmm.
and he's just kind of out of it. It seems like so. It'll be interesting to see how far the Suns go. I don't think it's going to be far. Maybe second round and bounce again, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look good. I'll say that. We kind of
Yeah.
hinted at the one of the biggest names to be traded, or one of the people who you know will be traded. So, who do you think is going to be the biggest name to be dealt during this off or during this season? Since I think almost everyone is available for trade now.
No, pretty much. But you know, I'll tell you this much: it's not Kyle Kuzma. Do not make that call, Ginny. But you know, I had to change my answer with light of what happened today. I'm gonna say Zach LaVine. I don't know how true it is about how he wants to force himself out of LA, but there's been a lot going on with Chicago. And we talked about this earlier. I don't understand because, I mean, obviously, we only see what's allowed for us to see when watching these games and watching these tweets and all
Yeah.
this stuff, or listening and seeing all these tweets. But considering that Billy Donovan has a great reputation with OKC and with Chicago as of late, I'm just so confused. And um, Zach LaVine is definitely a guy that teams would want to go after because of his play style and how he can fit seamlessly to a lot of offenses that teams are running. And so, my biggest person to get traded right now is Zach LaVine, and the second person is Kuz. Just Kuz. I think a lot of teams want somebody like him to help them with their playoff runs. Can't be me though. But um, Zach LaVine and Kuz, and it's really sad that the Bulls have intentions of blowing it up, but it just didn't work out. It didn't work out, and I want to sprinkle this in there because we talked about this earlier. Trae Young. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I think the biggest name so far, I would have to say Zach. Zach for sure.
Yeah, after everything today, I think Zach LaVine seems like I don't think he's a must. I don't think he's for sure going to be dealt. If anything, he'll be dealt during the off season, just so they can retain some picks, see who they can get in the lotto.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe Bradley Beal, just because the Wizards are just so bad again. They every single season we go through this, right? We say, "Oh, they're in 12th place again." And
Yep.
they're like, "Oh, we're not going to keep it. We want to contend." And it's like, "Contend for what? Last
Or
place?"
what? Yeah.
And I don't I in my opinion, I have no idea what Bradley Beal's doing. I think he just doesn't want to piss off the Washington fans, but at this point it's like, what else do you have to lose? They might just push you out because they don't want to win anymore. They want to get some kind of pick for you, right?
Him and Dame kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, at least Dame, like he has Anthony, or like he has Ant Simons, right? He has
Yeah.
someone with him to like hoop with.
Yeah.
Beal has Kyle Kuzma and Kristaps Porzingis, man. Like that's
Yeah.
tough.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And it's like, don't you want to like at some point succeed? He succeeded a lot in his early days,
Hmm.
but he's never he's never sniffed that by himself. I
He's done
would
his due
think, yeah, he's done his dues. Like it's okay to leave, right? Like it's okay. You can go to a better team. No one's gonna
and
blame
run
you.
from the grind.
Yeah, you can run for. He's not even grinding at this point. He's just getting beaten, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it just can't be fun at this point. And then Kuz, I think Kuz will for sure be traded. They don't want him. He doesn't want the Wizards. It's okay to leave.
Yeah.
I will say this has Marcus Morris written all over it. Averaging like career season, 20 points per game, ton of rebounds, goes to a
Hmm.
contender, drops down to 10 points, terrible efficiency, and just never gets back to himself.
And this is exactly why I
Yeah.
don't want him to go back to the Lakers. Not that we're a contender, but he's not going to be doing that over here, my boy. Definitely not.
Like he's put like this happens every season, right? One guy puts up crazy numbers on a really trash team,
Hmm.
goes to a new team, plays nothing like that,
Doesn't replicate it at all.
and still gets paid.
Yep.
And he's gonna get paid.
Yeah.
I think I saw Chandler Parsons say he has all-star attitude and he's gonna get
Hmm.
paid like one,
Hmm.
but he just doesn't deserve it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I whatever team gets him, good for you. Although it seems like the Lakers are gonna get him. I'm not
Oh,
gonna lie.
hey, you know what? Shout out Bleacher Report. There's about 4 other trades that I would pull the trigger on before I do that. Give me cash considerations before I do that.
What is Pat Bev for Kuz straight up?
Oh man, I don't know. That's 2 cardio players right there, man. Straight cardio.
Hey, Bev got the celebrations going though. Down
I
40,
know,
still saying too small.
man. That is the epitome slash summary of how the Lakers season is going.
Yeah,
But I just want to add this as well. You know, I forgot, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. It's
yeah,
just unfortunately their names are always going to be you know in trade rumors, and I really hope. I mean, Indiana's been playing well, and Tyrese Halliburton,
yeah.
the wannabe All Star.
The I still don't understand that, but go on.
Yeah, obviously that's his team, but I don't see those two being part of the plans for the future.
Yeah,
They're kind of at an awkward stage where do we contend? Do we not? Do we do contend to get into playoffs? Let
yeah,
me clarify. Do we contend to get into playoffs, or do we just let it go? But yeah, it's just those two guys are forever going to be linked. And Miles Turner wants to be a Laker too. Like he hints it all the time. But you know, it's just very unfortunate for those two. But yeah, so I think Zach, Miles Turner, and Buddy Hield. And there's an asterisk next to this name, but Kyle Kuzma, because I don't want him. But um, I do also want to say that wherever these players go, it has to just be a contender. I don't
yeah,
see any moves being made if they're gonna go to another team that's in the same boat, if not worse.
yeah.
So I definitely think that these teams or these players go to contenders, or at least people that are trying to push to get more reinforcements as the postseason comes closer.
I will say, like, be careful what you wish for in terms of like Kyle Kuzma wanting to go to California because he's most likely gonna get if it's not the Lakers, it's gonna be Sacramento because
Fair,
Sacramento really wants Kyle Kuzma and
fair.
they have the assets to do it. You can trade HB or Harrison Barnes expiring deal easy, and like it could happen, and he's gonna get stuck in Sacramento, which
Good for
might not be
like the
bad.
beam.
Yeah, they're one of the most fun teams to watch. I'll say that,
Mm,
but I don't think Kuzma wants to go to Sacramento.
yeah. And if he does end up in California and he goes to the Clippers, I would just hate him even more. Hate him even more.
I would also hate that just because like they're incredibly deep right. They don't need Kuzma, but
I know.
they would do it. I know they would.
Yeah. And you know what, Spence? Speaking of which, talking about the Clippers, hey man, why last chance you gotta show the Clippers, man? Why can't they have another coach, bro?
Honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know why they. I mean, Tyronn Lue's cool, but they could
Yeah,
have done anyone else.
that's what I'm saying. Season
Yeah,
one's better though. Just saying.
I
For
haven't
all those
finished it
watching.
yet, but
Yeah.
so far, yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
But that's gonna do it for us. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks
Peace.
for having me, Spence.
Of course, bro.